Now we're going to go to the main event, at least in our minds. I'm an Eagles fan. You're a Cowboys fan.
Definitely.
So obviously, I assume you're picking the Cowboys.
I have to go with my team. I'm going with Dallas in Philly. But you know what? I could actually make a legitimate case for it. Won the last 3 years in Philly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Granted, I mean, again, going back to the Monday night game with you guys with Atlanta, I don't buy into your secondary. I said that before. Julio Jones put up, almost like 150 against y'all. I don't feel like anybody on Dallas is going to put up that type of numbers, especially with Dez being out. But I feel like we could do enough if we balanced our running game a little bit more. I feel like we can do enough with the little bit of weapons that we have that we can just, I'm not going to say we're going to blow you out, but we're going to do enough. I think we can embarrass your secondary a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in Byron Maxwell. I feel like he was a product of a system that he was able to get this kind of money. I feel like it's going to get exposed eventually. I just feel like we're going to be able to do enough. Our defense is actually very underrated. Scandrick's out. Everybody made a big deal about that. Last year, Claiborne was out. But we got Sean Lee back. It's not a one-person show. Right. It's everybody. You know what? The ball's going here. Let's all swarm over there. And that's how they played last year. That's how they're playing, in week 1. Yeah. And I feel like it's going to continue.
Well, Dallas didn't run the ball a whole lot in week 1. And part of me thinks that was set up so now they can run the ball a whole lot in week 2 because you're playing a division rival. Sometimes you don't want to throw all your cards out right away. That's a big thing for Dallas' defense was last year they were off the field as much as they were on the field. Right. So they never really got tired out and they ran a good system. If they can do that again, I think they have the talent to be a pretty legit defense as, they run a decent system and all that. Like Malcolm Jenkins, I'm with you I've told you about Byron Maxwell before. I've told you it's impossible for him to live up to that contract, especially I think in Philadelphia after the Amnoa situation. So I don't think, and last week, Julio Jones was all over him. Dan Quinn was his coordinator last year. So if anybody knows what he can do on a football field, it would probably be his coach over the last couple of years. So I think that had a little bit to do with it. We're going to see. He's not going to have to face Dez, which personally I wanted to see him go head-to-head with Dez because as an Eagles fan, they paid him all that money, so here you go. This is who you were paid to stop, literally. Yeah. So I look at, I'm kind of disappointed, obviously, that he's hurt. Hope he gets better, back soon. It benefits the Eagles, obviously. Definitely. I picked the Eagles. I liked what I saw in the second half. The missed field goal, it's just unfortunate. But they were really tough opening, tough first half.
Extremely tough.
Sam Bradford hasn't played a regular season game in 99 weeks. And first time he played with DeMarco Murray in, 4 years, and it was the first time Chip Kelly was in his headset. I just think in week 1, first time in a long time, I'm not going to overreact. As an Eagles fan, I'm optimistic that hopefully the rest of the season goes more like the second half than the first half. I think Dallas is kind of in Philly's head, at least in Philadelphia. Right. It's hard. I hate to say that week, year after year, because sometimes it's just a coincidence. So I'd like to see the Eagles come out. Hopefully they play with what they played with in the second half there, and they get it going. The secondary looked good in the second half, but they got pressure from the front seven. Dallas is going to have to run the ball really well against a tough front seven. That's how Dallas is going to win. And I hope, at least, obviously that's it, the Dallas offensive line versus the Eagles front seven. But I think that the Eagles can do enough to stop that and then maintain everything else.
Do you think DeMarco Murray has a big game? Because honestly, I feel like you guys completely underutilized them in week 1. I said this
maybe it was the same reason that I said about Dallas underutilizing the run in general. Maybe they were holding the cards.
Honestly, when you guys signed him, before we even started doing these shows, my immediate thought was DeMarco, who I called the Who, but DeMarco is more of an I-back running back. He's more of a power back. He isn't this spread back. That's more of a Darren Sproles. This isn't a DeMarco Murray.
He ran a spread system in college, and he did pretty well.
But that's not his strength right now in the NFL. To me, you go with his strength. And right now his strength is pounding the ball. Does he do that against Dallas? Because I feel like potentially, honestly, I feel like he might just do that.
I'm not just saying just against Dallas. I think week in and week out, if he is your number one back, which he should be the Eagles' number one back, if your number one back's only getting 12 rushes, he should get the 12 rushes. You know what I mean? And,
absolutely.
And I don't think they did enough of actually handing the ball off in general, and that was a big part of why they stumbled as much as they did in the first half. And then when you're down that much, you're just naturally going to pass. So he ended up not getting a ton of carries in week 1. If he gets more carries in week 2, and, hey, sometimes you get a T.O. performance against your former team, and sometimes you get a Brett Favre performance against your former team, and it just sometimes good, sometimes bad. So we'll see. I think that the Eagles, he got the ball well out of the backfield, really well. I think all three of their running backs did. And you said to me earlier that's not something that you think he's utilized or best utilizing him with.
No, not at all. To me, he's not that all screen pass player. To me, he is that power back, like I said. And we know when you're paying him that type of money, and you're using him for, what was it? We got 8 carries for 9 yards. That's horrible. You don't pay him that type of money.
Like I said, I think he should at least have 12 carries because he's your number one back.
Absolutely,
minimum,
he should be.
Minimum.
Granted, the 1 or 2 times, we talked about it. The 1 or 2 times that he did catch the ball out of the backfield, it was like, okay, he did a little bit of work here and there, but is that what you're paying him that kind of money for?
He had a nice carry from the 4-yard line, but he had a nice carry there for the touchdown also. And that
is that what you want out of him?
Well, for that situation, yes. The Eagles' offensive line also had an atrocious game overall with all the penalties. They didn't have a great night blocking overall. So you got to factor that in as well. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a week to week thing. They're gonna have to adjust. It was the first week though for him in this system on this team. Also, getting play call from Chip Kelly. So all these things factor in. It's tough though going against Dallas week 2. They got to get that going to win this game.
And you know what? I actually agree with you. I feel like the second half of that Atlanta game is more so what we should be expecting out of the Eagles.
I really do also.
I truly believe that. As much as I obviously don't want them to.
No.
I truly believe that that's what we all expected. Honestly, the first half of that game against Atlanta, I was like, what team is this? Who is this?
But on the other side,
who's coaching this team and what is going on?
But on the other side, as good as Dallas' defense was, that's what I expect them to be. And as good as Romo was in the clutch, that's what I expect from him as well. That's why it's such a big matchup. You know what I mean? That's why we're talking about the way we are. We'll see.
Talk about a big game.
Yeah.
How do you have such a big game in week 2?
Next week's going to be a little rough. For the two of us.
It's gonna be hectic in there.
Well,
it's gonna be very hectic.
We didn't brawl we kept our hands to ourselves. So
you lucked out that Dez isn't playing.
Who gets more excited to play football at Lincoln Financial Field than Dez Bryant? That man had the game of his life last year in that stadium.
You want to talk about?
He's probably as disappointed missing this game because it's the Eagles as because of he got what he did in the stadium last year, So
and you know what? That is exactly why I love him.
Yeah,
that's why I have his jersey because
he's fired up.
He is that heart and soul of our entire team. Granted, I love you, Jason Witten, but heart, soul, determination. Especially, he's more that old school mindset of you know what? No, that's a rival. We're going at it. It's all for respect.
Absolutely.
And it's just football, but
no.
On the field, we are rivals. We're going to fight, and he took what you guys said personally, and he went out there and put on the show.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, he's back for this November 8th.
Yeah.
That's the rematch in Dallas.
Yep.
Hopefully, he's there for that. I'm holding my breath, not confident, but he's definitely missing out. He definitely wants to be there.
Yeah.
But you guys are fortunate not to have to face him.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.